O Lord, eternal rest for the souls of your departed servants. Beverly, Edward, John, Jenny, Estelle, Edward, Venetia, Jack, Richard, Jeanette, Debbie, Eleanor, David, Alfred, Fran, Debbie, Emma, Oscar, Charles, John, Dick, Alice, Kathy, Arlene, Alfred, May, Cyril, Felix, Agnes, Spears, Gilbert, Kevin, Penny, Jenny, Greta, John, Anna, Claire, Raymond, Ardena, George, Mary, Elizabeth, Robert, Theodora, John, Oscar, Eldora, Laverne, Bernice, Richard, Julius, Bob, Muriel, Don, Joanne, Ed, Jerry, Roseanne, Leo, Burrow, Ike, Sylvan, Lucy, William, Alice, Joseph, Jeanette, Jean, Marie, Grace, Joe, Elizabeth, Ed, Emma, Laura, Jerome, Ray, Raymond, Joseph, Ted, Barbara, Mike, Bruce, Thomas, Kathleen, Wally, Sue, James, Lawrence, Richard, Stephanie, Delia, Anna, Peter, Tilly, Nancy, Peter, Vladimir, Ralph, Roy, Webster, John, Catherine, Henry, Juletta, Thurman, Richard, Gertrude, Doug, Randy, Charles, Paula, Paul, Deborah, Hilda, Paul, Arthur, the priest Leo, the priest Terry, Otto, Desi, James, Charles, Tracy, Neil, Roger, Rick, John, Gwendolyn, Glenn, Gordon, Myrtle, David, Renee, Jerry, David, Gordon, Rex, Robert, Irene, Robert, Corinne, Nathaniel, Robert, Damon, Henry, Terry, James, Nathaniel, and Elizabeth. Donna, Karen, Teresa, Mio, Rita, Margaret, Dennis, Angelo, Marie, Peggy, Steve, Laura, Julia, Raymond, the priest Nay, the priest Monser, the priest Julius, the nun Veronica, the nun Margaret, Perry, the priest Al, the priest Leahy, the priest O'Callahan, Earl, Jimmy, Jim, Jack, Hugo, Decorah, Margaret, Dottie, Alvin, JW, Sandra, Emily, Michael, the priest Simeon, Mother Helen, Vladimir, Michael, Xenia, Paulo, Stefan, Maria, Stefani, Gina, Clarence, Esperanza, Leo, Anna, Fossil, Julia, Charles, Robert, John, the Nun Annunciata, Mary, John, Eric, Casimir, Alaska, Andrew, Anthony, Alexander, Jean, Joseph, Frank, John, Ida, Anna, Mary, Olga, Margaret, Luke, Helen, John, Nicholas, Michael, John, Andrew, Julia, David, Michael, the priest James, the priest Basil, Anthony, Leo, Thomas, Timothy, Robert, Anna, Joseph, Theodore, Basil, Julia, Peter, Frank, Michael, John, Leonard, Cleveland, Etta, Sylvester, June, Fred, Martha, Ed, Frank, Irene, the infant Gerard, Jerry, Milton, Anna, Josephine, the priest Albert, Joe, the high priestly servant of God, Hudson, Jack, Curtis, Betty, Ed, Milka, the priest Philip, the monk Damien, Larry, Dale, Joanne, Dorothy, Kay, Catherine, Kathy, Nikita, Marty, Brandon, Bob, Marion, Lisa, Austin, Kathleen, Louise, Jennings, Harold, Alice, the priest Gregory, Connie, Barbara, Ivan, the deacon Charles, Bob, Joe, Alvin, Joe, Ashley, Jack, Chris, Paul, the high priestly servant of God, Paulos, the priest Adele, Holly, the infant Micah, the high priestly servant of God, Stephanos, James, Helen, Katie, Pat, among Francis, Robert, Johnny, Nancy, Peter, Carol, Nancy, Dolores, Bruce, David, Sherman, Ralph, Dave, the high priestly servant of God, Basil, James, Carol, Ruth, Margaret, Rick, Ray, the high priestly servant of God, Nicholas, Eugene, Patty, Jim, the deacon Stan, Rosemary, the high priestly servant of God, Dimitri, Meyer, Diane, the priest Sergei, John, the high priestly servant of God, Andrew, Carol, the hierophant Vasilios, Manawal, Dorothy, Deborah, Tommy, Bonnie, Hilda, Reba, Sue, Grace, the priest Daniel, Mona, Carl, Glenn, John, Laura, May, Luke, Anna, Tony, Leo, John, Lori, Barbara, Edward, Cordelia, Otto, Ruth, Mary, the priest Dan, Robert, and make their memory eternal.
Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal. Memory eternal.